Hello, everybody, and welcome to our commentary of Brad Bird's Tomorrowland. Okay, Shiroi,
Yes.
here's a question for you.
Mhm.
What if we got the creator of The Incredibles?
Sorry.
And the doggo.
Yes. And a dog, yes.
Okay, apparently man is not a fan of Brad Bird, apparently. What if we got the creator of The Incredibles, Shiroi, to make a movie with George Clooney and Hugh Laurie, yes, Dr. House himself, to have a movie about space cars?
I'd say that sounds fucking cool.
Unfortunately, Shiroi, it is cool. Well, 2/3 of it is cool. I'll just say that. Welcome to Tomorrowland, everybody.
Don't you mean Tomorrowland: The World Beyond?
Yes, okay, folks. In keeping with the Disney tradition of making movies based off of even their flipping rides, yes, this is Tomorrowland, the third and final bit of the Disney Bomb trilogy, or Disney Bomb Quadrio, if you count, of course, Mars Needs Moms, but Disney Bomb trilogy rolls off the tongue better.
Yeah, alright. We're going to start before the Disney logo.
The modern Disney logo. And don't worry, it's the regular one. I can't believe I have to differentiate that it's the regular CGI Disney logo because, holy cow, Disney seems to be having a fetish of changing their Disney logo based off of certain movies.
Well, as long as they keep that specific version to that one movie, I'd say it's fine.
Alright, let's go.
3,
All right, 3, 2, sorry, go ahead.
1, click.
Also, Pedro, in terms of the writing staff, another writer on this movie is Damon Lindelof, aka a guy famous for for Lost, Prometheus, Star Trek Into Darkness, and
That's not a very good resume, but whatever.
I mean, Lost was good up until the very end, so that kind of explains quite a bit with this movie, and yes, okay, audience. I don't mean to sound too cynical when I talk about how, the whole changing the Disney castle thing is getting a bit old, but it's kind of getting a bit old, not gonna lie. I mean, there comes a point where the gimmick kind of
technically this is an
luster.
original film, not in one of the live-action remakes of the animated stuff.
Well, I mean, it's
This
like,
is
well, they're
an
doing it
original
pretty
movie.
constantly, and okay. If they want to make it a couch gag, that's fine, but then they're inconsistent.
Also, that logo reminds me a lot of the Meet the Robinsons logo. Weird.
Oh, hey, it's Batman!
So here's George Clooney, our main character.
so here we are, Brad Bird's second live-action film after the success he had with Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol 4 years prior.
I'll give Brad credit. He definitely has shown that he can do both live-action and animated flicks. This one... Wow.
Unlike Andrew Stanton, who, let's just say it is, John Carter attempt wasn't very good.
Well, Andrew Stanton's gone on to direct a few episodes of Stranger Things.
Oh, okay then.
Okay, how do I describe the Disney Bomb trilogy? John Carter was like the premonition that things were definitely gonna go really, 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 really badly, and yeah, I'd argue it's actually the worst of the Disney Bomb trilogy. Lone Ranger is a movie I could actually have fun with, but had still too many problems that dragged it down, which is really a shame considering how awesome the ending was. This movie is an anomaly, in the sense where, by all means, this movie should have been good. It should have been great. It had all the pieces to be great. The first 2/3 of this movie are pretty good. But god dang, that last third. In some ways, it's
Basically, everybody, this is one of those movies where the third act is where the entire movie collapses.
Bad enough to make this movie bomb at the box office. Dwibs?
Was it just mundane or was it actually bad?
Oh, Dwibs, how about you read off those numbers?
Let's just say she.
No, I'm not talking about the reception. I'm talking about like how far does this go down? Like, is it boring or bad?
Bad.
Annoyingly preachy, kind of bad.
Oh dear. Okay.
So we start off with George Clooney as a kid going off at the World Fair to show off his invention.
Oh yeah, I remember watching Bowser Crick's Disney December review of this movie. He really did not like this opening bit.
Yes, it's also hunky-dory.
It's mostly because it's so inconsistent with the rest of the movie as well. Not to mention, it also shows the missing potential. Basically, sure, this is Tomorrowland. What is Tomorrowland? Well, actually, is this already Tomorrowland?
No.
It's not.
This
Sorry,
is just
never
the
mind.
World's Fair. We're not at Disney World.
Also, Shiroi, they dragged Hugh Laurie into this thing.
Huh.
And Hugh Laurie actually gets to use British accent change.
You're just one of those super whiz kids, aren't you?
Fortunately, Hugh Laurie would go on to get to be in a much
That
better
face.
villain. He later go on to be in a much better villain.
Sure. Oh, sorry, go on, Dibs.
He later go on to be in a much better villain role in The Night Manager.
Anyway.
Which is a fairly recent British TV show.
Well, actually, it's a British-American co-production.
Anyway, sure. That face of Hugh Laurie's, that was his face after he saw the last word of the script and realized he signed on for it.
Yeah.
Well, they filmed things out of order for movies, so maybe he'd just read it and that was his reaction and they thought it would be great for the shot.
Yes, headcanon. This was the last scene that they filmed for the movie, and this was him thinking, my God, what have I done?
Also,
I've gone from house to this.
The title you read out, Dwibs, is that the European or British name, or...?
In some regions, it's called Tomorrowland or Beyond. In other regions, it's called Project T.
Huh.
See, the first one that you mentioned, and the same one that you mentioned at the beginning of this...
Like, I'm sorry, no.
It's a bit clunky, because you basically just explained the title, the main title.
I'm sorry, no. He's in a hospital at least.
Nah, he fine.
That's right, kids. It's perfectly safe to do that kind of stuff.
Cartoony logic, I guess.
You asked for numbers, Jova.
Yes, let's hear them.
It had a budget of $180 to $190 million, and it made worldwide $209.2 million.
Yep.
I think it bombed even harder than Lone Ranger.
Absolutely. Lone Ranger didn't take as much money, and Lone Ranger did manage to recoup more based off of its popularity. Oh God.
It was still a disaster at the box office, but
not as much one as this. Yeah. And basically, Shuri, I attribute this film's failure a lot to word of mouth, because let me tell you, I'll be surprised if you don't hate this movie by the end.
Sure.
Hugh, could you call him a moron, please? No.
I mean, he kind of
also,
did.
Did you say he's playing a villain?
I'll let you wait and see, Shuri.
No, I think Dwib's already said.
Yeah, Dwib's already kind of spoiled it, but yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like,
it's
even
Hugh
though
Laurie. Who do you expect?
Even though this,
come on, Dwibs, Hugh Laurie doesn't despite
it wasn't a villain in Blackadder.
I have a better way to describe it. Actually, he's a British guy in the middle of a very American movie.
Yeah.
Well,
there we go.
Hey. He wasn't the bad guy of House.
Well, he was a bad guy.
Yes, please open up with the sappy ending. You'll never be able to make it work. Yes, I can. You'll never be a success, son. Yes, I will. You'll never make it in life, son. Oh my God, Dad, have you seen the rest of the movie?
Supportive parents.
Hold on, Joe. Apparently, the ice cream truck is near.
Oh, yeah, that's my ringtone. I really have to get that changed back to its proper cornered one.
Joe, enough for nothing. Could you put your phone on?
Oh, hey. I see you got your princessness from your father, dearie. Although, to her credit, the girl playing this girl is pretty good.
Yeah.
This is Athena, played by,
Frank Welker?
Played by Frank Welker, yes, indeed.
No, that's the thing, Jova. Our main character is called Frank Welker. That's exactly the thing.
Oh my God.
Walker.
Oh, is it Welker?
Walker.
Yeah.
And now we're at Disney World.
Rafi Cassidy, yeah.
I think I heard Welker.
Anyway, so the numbers, Dwibs?
I've already said the numbers, but in terms of Rotten Tomatoes, it has a rating of 50%.
Oh.
Split down the middle.
Ambitious and visually stunning, Tomorrowland is unfortunately weighed down by uneven storytelling.
10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%. 10%.
I'm guessing
Agreed.
that's an understatement.
You'll
You'll
see.
see. You'll see.
I'll be right back.
Let me just say this right now, Sheree. Don't be surprised if you find yourself actively enjoying the first 2/3 of this movie.
This is a movie that could have been really good if it was just a really fun adventure movie, like it seems like it's going to be, until suddenly it decides to become something else.
Quickly, to the Batcave! Like, I know he's technically not Batman, but come on, it's George Clooney. But yeah, it's a small world.
It's a small world.
Oh, God.
Have you ever been on this ride, Shiroi?
Yes.
Fan of the song?
I love this. I love the a small world. Song,
It's cute. It's cute.
It's so catchy though.
Hello? Please keep your hands and rides inside of the kidnapping vehicle. I mean, the ride.
Guys.
Yes, this.
Are you sure we're not watching just some kid go through Walt Disney World Resort or something?
No, this. We're watching a live-action remake of Little Nemo.
What? But there's no bed.
I know, but this entire sequence reminds me of the opening of that, though.
Welcome to... Not Fantasia.
Wait. This princess is a girl? I'm not kidding, Shiroi. That's literally a line from that movie. The boy is surprised that the princess is a girl.
I thought she was gonna be a boy.
You know, this was a lot more fun when it happened in Shazam.
Or Men in Black.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, another thing about its box office.
Well,
During the Memorial Day weekend, it ended up becoming the lowest opening for a big budget tentpole movie since another Disney movie, Prince of Persia.
Huh.
Well, since then, I mean, what is Memorial Day, by the way? Me being a Brit, I don't know what that is.
It's a holiday over in America.
I mean, what does it celebrate?
Soldiers who've given their lives to the cause of duty.
Ah, so it's like Remembrance Day around here, then.
Hence the term Memorial Day.
Yeah, we have something similar. We call it Remembrance Day.
We don't have anything like that. So where does our main character Frank Walker arrive at? Tomorrow. Well, no. Unfortunately, wrong Disney franchise.
Do not enter. How smart was this kid again? Ah well, at least he stopped before he fell off.
There you go, Shuas. You might think, they're not going to show Tomorrowland yet because they're waiting for the big reveal. They're going to build up to it. Well, we'll get back to that. Okay.
And of course, to being a Brad Bird movie, got a Michael Giacchino score going.
Oh
on.
shit! What exactly is a?
Oh, I think we seem to have stumbled onto the set of Star Wars. That's right, Disney owned that kid.
Which is now a Disney franchise, ironically.
Yep. What's the Disney franchise now?
Star Wars.
Oh,
yeah, we know that.
Boo.
Oh yeah. Also, this film's underperformance at the box office was apparently the reason why Disney cancelled Tron 3. So,
which doesn't make a lick of sense. God dang it.
I mean, they're both sci-fi films, I know, but that's it.
Huh. Look at that. Aw, how nice. He gave him the thumbs up. We never see that robot again in this movie.
Yep.
Johnson, did we just accidentally send a kid to his death?
It's okay. All you have to do is believe in fairies.
Johnson, isn't that just what our boss Walt said in that Peter Pan flick? Well, the bit that he cut out of it, actually.
Oh yeah, 2015. When that year was actually the year 2015 was actually full of box office flops. There was this, Seventh Son, Jupiter Ascending, Pan. Anything else?
Doesn't come to mind much.
Oh yeah, four giant flops in 1 year.
Boy, this will be a fun thing to tell Mom and Dad on your way back home, won't it, kid?
Still falling.
Ta-da! To infinity and beyond! That's probably what inspired Disney years later to make Buzz Lightyear. And I won't deny the music is actually pretty flipping awesome. Oh!
Well, it's from Michael Giacchino, though.
And if you look to your right, you'll see Spider-Man looking at himself in the reflection from Spider-Man 3.
Sorry, Joe, but this is a Disney movie. We can't include that Sony movie in here.
Remember, Pedro, Sony are now going to be in an alliance with Disney, and holy cow, the amount of Disney owns this or has an alliance with this jokes are through the roof. There's so much potential now since they own so much.
But they bought Fox, so yeah.
Heck, for all I know, we could be ahead of the curve if we insinuate that they buy DC eventually.
There you go.
Nah.
Alright, this is Tomorrowland now, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, so there you go, Shiroi. We finally arrived at Tomorrowland. So what are you probably wondering, sure, what is this wonderful place called Tomorrowland?
The future?
Hey,
well, aside from that, obviously.
I'm not impressed.
Possibly a hellish utopia.
Question, Jory. Have you been to Tomorrowland before?
No. And by that we mean Disneyland.
Or Disney World.
I've been to Disneyland, plenty of Disneyland.
Okay, basically...
Where are they filming this one?
Basically, Jory, Tomorrowland is, a section of Magic Kingdom.
And then everything went to hell.
Well, like I said, it's a hellish utopia.
Siri, it was filmed in Canada.
Does Canada actually have a Disney park?
No. Although they did film some scenes in a place called the City of Arts and Sciences in Valencia, and Disney World.
Oh yeah, that's right, sure. Okay. Here's the thing. This movie is being told sort of in medias res. In medias res.
Okay, Brad, look. If the producer you're pitching the story to is not buying the premise, it's probably not a good idea to insert that conversation into the movie.
Which one?
That one that we were just hearing, where George Clooney was literally going, do you think you... I'm telling the story. Do you think you can tell the story better?
Not gonna lie, I feel it would have been best if we just stuck with George Clooney aging up and actually getting to see more of Tomorrowland. Granted, though, that's not to say that this bit with this is bad, it's just...
George, we've got over 2 hours, and that's plenty of time to tell this story.
So now, sure, we're going to tell the story from the girl's perspective, and forgive me, I cannot recall who her actress is.
Me neither.
The actress's name is Britt Robertson.
And never heard of her. Is she in anything before or after this?
Before this, she was in Keeping Up with Steins, Scream 4.
Scream 4, oh bad.
After this, she was in some stuff, including A Dog's Purpose.
Oh, that.
Oh, she was in a few episodes of the Tangled series.
Okay.
Well, what character did she play?
Someone named Vex.
Oh, okay.
And after that? Okay, nope, sorry.
Some stuff I've never heard of.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I will never get movies that try and portray it as this easy to get into a government site like that. Like, come on.
Yeah, but I'm free to do this as well.
Well, to be fair, he had like the whole NYPD chasing him.
No, that's not what we're talking about, Webs. What we're talking about is the fact that in movies, for some reason, it's incredibly easy for people to just wander into government facilities.
Just climb over that one bar.
Yeah, just climb the very short fence with no alarms or anything.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. You're telling me that America post 9/11 is that lax on security? Yeah, keep dreaming. Sure. Anyway, so our character, I forget it. I think they'll tell us her name eventually, but she's here to get something.
Her name is main character.
You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of that section in the Tropicum Human where we're infiltrating the thing so we can steal the blue blood stuff. Like, yet another case of very unrealistic security.
Imagine that from David Cage, of all people.
Well, yeah. Well, if Hollywood themselves can get it right, what makes you think David can?
There's a lot Hollywood doesn't get right. Still better than David, though.
Basically, Shiroi, from this point on, we're going to tell the movie from this girl's perspective. So you'll have to...
Why?
So now you're going to have to wait at least 1 hour before you can see Tomorrowland properly.
Which... Yeah, I'm gonna admit. Well, don't get me wrong. The movie is still
weird pacing.
Let me put it like this: the movie is good, but you'll see where the cracks start to show with why this approach in the long term doesn't.
Why have we suddenly switched perspective though? Because the way this has gone, I had assumed that the boy was the main character.
Yes,
right.
Technically. Let me put it like
And go ahead, Pedro.
No, that's the thing, Shiroi. He is. The problem is we never actually get to see his growing up period. We just jump straight to the moment where he's George Clooney, an adult. And we're going to find out what happened in between later, and we're going to be told about it rather than shown it.
That's a very weird story perspective, but okay.
Let me put it like this, Shiroi. He's the main protagonist in the sense that Johnny Depp was the main protagonist of Pirates of the Caribbean 3, but had to share that role with Keira Knightley and Orlando Bloom. In the sense
Keira Knightley.
Yeah, Keira Knightley.
Anyway, I was going to say, so basically, Britt Robertson plays Casey Newton, a teenager, even though Robertson was 20 when this was being shot.
Yeah, not gonna lie, even when I first saw this, I thought, yeah, you are not a teenager. Oh yeah, I actually saw this movie in theaters, albeit it was in at the dollar theater, you know.
I was going to watch it in the cinema, but then I heard the reviews.
I only went to see this because my family went to see it, and family votes and all that.
Well done, Jeremy. Your family's one of the few people that saw it.
And that's the thing. Let me remind you, we saw it at the dollar theater, so this was pretty much after it, it had its main theater run. Like the dollar theater is mainly where movies go in between theater releases, but slightly before they get available on DVD.
I don't think we have a pound theater or anything like that.
No, we don't.
And guess what, Shiroi? This girl here, she went on to play Vex in the beginning of season 2 of Tangled, aka the girl who always asks for payment to help Rapunzel.
Yeah.
Look at that! She got one of those T medallions. That's right. It's based on supposedly Project T.
No.
Nice to see she's still working with Disney though.
Look! Hey, guys! It's funny we were mentioning Sony. There's some product placement with, the PS Vita.
No, PSP.
PSP.
Yes, Webs.
Anyway, I was just gonna say, I get the feeling that Vex was actually one of Brad Bird's sleeper agents that he sends out to try and replenish the box office takings for this film.
When did this movie come out?
2015, the year of bombs.
Oh.
Well, that's the thing. Her character in the Tangled series season 2 leads into one of my favorite jokes of season 2, which is where, hey, are you friends with that annoying long-haired girl? And Lance responds, she's not annoying. We prefer the term irrepressible.
Oh, guys, stop me if you heard this pop before. Parent is about to lose job, and, well, because of them losing a job, they'll probably have to move. Oh, sadness. Oh, right, yeah, this has to do with NASA shutting down its space program.
It's played by, father's played by, it's played by country singer Tim McGraw.
You see, Shiroi, like the web said.
Oh, wait, hold on, listen to this, because this ties into the message. Darkness and despair versus light and hope.
Yes, darkness is
light,
bad.
Dark, yada yada.
Anyway, you were saying, Pedro?
Darkness.
So yeah, like the web said, the critics criticized this for uneven storytelling, and you can see why, because this particular decision to just completely switch focus is very, very weird.
And random.
I thought this was meant to be a really optimistic film. They're talking about terrorism, nuclear war,
oh, goody.
bad weather. Is it meant to be optimistic or not, Brad and David? What do you want?
Question this, could you check, was Brad a producer on this thing?
Okay, Brad Bird directed. Duh.
Well, I know that, but he was also a producer.
With Damon Lindelof and Jeffrey Chernoff, yes.
Okay, so for all intents and purposes, he's most likely the one who had the most of the creative control.
Yeah,
writer, director, producer. Yeah, this was his project. This was his project.
Yeah, I don't think. I don't think we should.
Oh no, I'm not saying he carries all of the blame.
No, what I'm saying is, I've seen a lot of people just throw the blame on Lindelof just because of stuff like Lost. But
sure.
But I think Brad deserves some of the blame too. I mean, I think this is his idea.
Not just that, Webbs. Not just that. There's we've just established. Like, this was his project. And he was even a producer, which means he looked at the final script and thought, "Yes, this is what I'm going to go with." So,
oopsie, you've been caught.
Well, actually, apparently, back in 2010, Lindelof discussed this film with Disney, and it got greenlit by then Disney president of production, Sean Bailey.
Sean Bailey. Never mind. I guess this was technically Lindelof's idea.
Huh. Well, there you go, then.
And he's still there to this day.
Again, it wouldn't surprise me, because Lindelof seems to be the guy who can write a really good story. It's the last bit that really sucks. Case in point, Lost.
It still baffles me, though, that Brad Bird actually heard his idea and thought this was a good idea. But
good in concept, but bad in execution. There's a lot of stuff that can look good on paper, but doesn't always translate well to the final product.
Well, yeah, but you'd think he would know how to transition that well.
Well.
Hi.
So that happened.
Look, you know what, Jova? Looking back, I kind of wish Disney would have gone with this actress for Captain Marvel.
Huh. She does look better on this.
I mean, they already had her. They already knew her. She was already someone who was working with whatever.
And hey, she looks more Captain Marvel's. And hey, she looks more Captain Marvel's age than she does an actual teenager.
Well, remember, this was back in 2015. By the time 2019 rolled around, remember, this was back in 2015. By the time 2019 rolled around, she would have already been the same age as Brian Larson, I think.
Oh, that's funny. It's my fix.
So yeah, see, Shiroi, when she touches the pin, she mysteriously starts seeing Tomorrowland.
Uh-oh.
Keep your eyes on the road. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, see? You see, yeah, this is one thing I've recently grown to just be annoyed, not pissed off, just a bit ticked off by movies. Where I was since I've just since I'm now a licensed driver myself. People not looking at the fucking road at where they're going. Instead, they're just taking the time to yell at people or be on the phone. You know, like this film, Doctor Strange, and among others.
Well, the thing
I'm
with
like, well, why do I feel sorry for you if you crash? You deserve it. You weren't looking at the road.
well, the thing with Doctor Strange is that
Okay, now here's what I don't get. For some reason, when he touches it, it doesn't react.
yeah,
That's a very common trope in this type of thing.
It can be annoying in some cases, though, when there's no
I
rhyme
know,
or reason to it.
it is what it is.
we're gonna have to go through this still, though. Well, with Doctor Strange, it worked fine because it was meant done for a specific purpose. Because it was done to illustrate that Stephen Strange was an incredibly cocky and arrogant asshole that needed to be taken down a peg, and as a result of his own arrogance, well, he cheated off the car. So it's all part of his redemption story. Whereas in here, yeah, like most of the time, films just forget about that detail of having to look on keeping your eyes on the road. But I would argue that as long as the conversation that they're having is fun and interesting, I'm willing to overlook it. Again, it's one of those things that Cinema Sins would point out, but I don't really care about details like those, to be honest.
I mean, that's the thing. It only really started for me when I got my license.
Well, it's because you didn't really have to. It's not something you had to pay attention to before.
Yeah, when you actually drive on your own, you really do realize how much you have to pay attention. Okay.
Well, obviously.
No, I mean, like, you notice things you wouldn't have needed to otherwise.
There you go. As you can, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it. You'd think she would break something from literally tripping all over all of the stairs, but
get a concussion or something.
Okay, so here's my first problem with this movie now. Okay, because up until this point I was kind of okay with it, but this is the first problem I have right now. Okay, so apparently none of these characters can die apparently because these characters apparently have the resistance of cartoony Looney Tunes characters. I mean,
if they didn't try and play the story up as otherwise realistic, it'd be fine, but no, that's what they try to do.
I mean, don't get me wrong, there's kind of a whimsical sci-fi childhood wonder stuff to it, but it's not a fantasy movie. It's not like the movie's operating on any. It's still, not to mention this particular section is pretty much just downright very rich. Sorry, God, what's the 80s kids movies type stuff? You know, the kind of stuff you would see in Stranger Things, for example.
Anyway,
so it's very grounded. So it's weird that they would go for this.
The biggest surprise to me is that, you know, in terms of like Disney trying to start new franchises based off their theme park rides, I thought this film would have killed it along with the Pirates of the Caribbean films to become less popular around this point.
That's the thing.
They're making Jungle Cruise.
Wait, they are?
Yeah.
How weird. But yeah, you know what is a weird thing? Again, this movie had all the ingredients to be successful like Pirates of the Caribbean. It's a shame. And again, you know, look at the designs. The design work is actually pretty good for a translation to Tomorrowland to be, you know, more than just the theme park setting in the theme park. Oh, look at that! Jetpacks! Just like what George Clooney as a kid was making.
Honey, you know this is God. An illusion. You probably shouldn't be walking around without knowing where you're actually going in the real world, honey.
Well, okay. Yeah, to be fair, that's why she went. To be fair, that's why she went to an open field.
I guess.
Right. Look how happy I am! Ha 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 ha!
It's whimsy. Why even bothering dodging them? They're not real.
Shouldn't the car be almost ready?
Okay. One thing we had to notice, Paige, is like, well, she's actually been going down the stairs as if they were real. So apparently, as far as she knows, while she'll interact with anything in the real world, she'll apparently be able to interact with anything in this world too.
You know, I'd love for the camera.
How does that work?
The future.
I'd love the camera to cut to when she's walking down the stairs, and yet in the real world she's just on ground and she's doing the step walking outside, and people are looking at her like, "What are you doing?"
Next stop, spaceport.
Wow, you have water that.
Visit Disneyland.
Oh, okay. So they figure out the same technology that Blitzball in Final Fantasy X uses, I guess.
So it would seem.
Took 14 years, but
gravity. There you go, everybody. In the future, gravity will not be a thing at all, apparently.
Dear God, it's only a matter of time until Disney owns Star Trek too.
So apparently it has a timer on it.
Interesting.
Oh, look, that kid is playing PSVR, apparently.
So more Sony product placement.
Yeah,
it's actually it's not actually PSVR, sure. I'm just making a joke.
Oh, okay.
Wouldn't surprise me though. It's funny how much Sony product placement there was before
Sony product placement usually has only on Sony movies. I mean, has there been any Sony product placement in a Disney movie?
We literally just saw some earlier in this movie with the PSP.
Oh yeah, that's right. Ugh. You're right.
Again, Sony product placement is some of the most common product placement because Sony loved to do cross-media, even with their competitors in movies.
Sure. I'm usually very tolerant to product placement. It's just details in the background. I don't really care.
Unless it's an Adam Sandler movie, in which case be prepared to be bombarded.
Or even better, Jova, if you're gonna do product placement, completely own it. And own it like the Power Rangers movie.
Like the Power Rangers movie, yeah.
I still get to see that movie, but I've heard it has some masterful advertisement for Krispy Kreme.
No, that's the thing, Jova. Like, they were told, okay, you have to do some amazing promos for Krispy Kreme. And he was like, okay, you know what? Fuck it, then. We're going to literally have a commercial for Krispy Kreme right in the middle of the fucking movie.
Wow.
There you go.
Gee, golly willikers, the future is great. What?
You know, the future it seems very boring. It's just walking through things. Like, when are we going to get to the actual ride? Oh, here we go.
You know, I could just love explaining this to her father. I'm not on drugs. It's just whenever I touch this little dial thing, you know, I get a rush and I feel like I'm going to a magical place. That's totally not drugs, right?
Yeah, I was about to say, not just that.
Like, how would you explain this to a parent?
You know what this is also reminding me, Dwebs?
What?
It's also reminding me, you know, the way they keep teasing Tomorrowland throughout the movie. Kind of reminds me of Godzilla 2014 in a way. Not as bad as that movie, of course, because we just like a full 3 minutes of Tomorrowland, but still, it reminds me a bit of that. Like,
honestly, okay, I'm gonna say this right now.
When you see the trailers for this movie, showed mostly Tomorrowland stuff. But go ahead.
Hell, I mean, you know, if we're to do this ratio-wise, I feel like there's a better ratio of Godzilla sighting in the Godzilla 2014 movie than there is of Tomorrowland properly in this movie. You'll see what I mean, though.
Sure. I guess you can make an argument, but I would have to get into spoilers. Yeah, sure. Moving on.
Oh, interesting thing that Bird said about some of the criticism of this movie.
Oh, go ahead. Can you hear this? I can't wait to hear this.
According to TV Tropes, Brad Bird responded to criticisms towards the film's road trip by pointing out that simply having the characters walk around the eponymous city would make for an interesting story.
Could be in some cases. The problem again lies in the execution.
That was okay. I can see what you mean, Brad, but at the same time, like, if you're gonna make a movie called
hello. This girl seems familiar, doesn't she, Shiroi?
Yes, Pedro.
Well, Girl Scout.
Right. Okay, that's one thing I do like. This kid's actually smarter than your usual kid character. Kid to kid, I know exactly all about fooling parents. Mine used to be a doctor. Oh snap, she's got your number, kid.
You know, it's funny. Brad Bird turned down directing The Awakens to do this.
I don't know how to feel about that.
Turned down directing what?
He turned down directing The Force Awakens to do this.
Oh, okay.
Speaking of Force Awakens, a blast from the past.
You know, I'll bet you half these things were 20th Century Fox stuff. Yeah, Star Wars.
Yeah.
Hey, I remember that from that other stuff. Hey,
This is pretty much the remember. This is pretty much the remember this.
Yeah, basically.
Oh, Iron Giant.
Yes, that was
It's Catherine Hahn.
Yeah, did you know? Hey guys, I made the Iron Giant. Remember that movie?
Hey,
it was much better than this one.
Now we've got Catherine Hahn, who would later go later that year to be in the Visit.
Sure.
Yes. I can't believe it, but that was the year when an M. Night Shyamalan movie was better than a
Oh,
Bird
they were
movie.
foreshadowing.
How ironic that they would have to be in the year of bombs.
You know, I have to wonder, hearing that Star Wars joke just now, I wonder how Brad Bird feels knowing he turned down Force Awakens for this.
Shit.
I was about to say.
You're talking about Brad and his comments on walking around Tomorrowland the whole movie.
Yeah, that's
an
it.
Interesting story.
That's it. I get what you're saying, Brad, but at the same time, your movie's called Tomorrowland, so there should be some good amount of focus on Tomorrowland, or at the very least have Tomorrowland take a major role in the story itself.
I wouldn't say that there's not focus on Tomorrowland. There is definitely focus on Tomorrowland. The problem is, well, that has to do with the second act. Sort of. But to say that would be spoiling.
And the third to an extent.
That too, yeah. And the terrorists got together? Why, yes, I have seen that movie with Jean-Claude Van Damme. What was it called? You remember the movie? No. The one with him and Mickey Rourke in it.
Sorry, dude, but TMS tried that with Little Nemo, and the movie still turned out bad.
Basically, and that movie had Miyazaki involved at one point.
Not just that. It had Hayao Miyazaki involved at some point. It had Isao Takahata, the director of Grave of the Fireflies. It had Brad Bird. It had Chris Columbus. It also had Ollie Johnston and Frank. I forgot his last name. Two of the 9 old men, basically.
Really?
Yes, the Sherman Brothers did the music. Like they had like a bajillion talented people working on that thing. And yet it turned out such a really bad movie.
Yeah, not just mediocre. It was bad.
Boring. Mostly just boring.
Let me put it this. Miyazaki stated it to be the worst experience in his entire career. That is saying something.
Really?
Yes, working on Little Nemo, according to Hayao Miyazaki, was the worst experience of my professional career.
And that man has some pretty weird standards, so that's saying something.
Also, Isao Takahata, the other Ghibli founder, who was also attached to it at some point, he also said specifically that he quit the project because the protagonist did not go through any kind of growth throughout the movie. And he didn't think that, which he thought was really, really a bad idea.
Well, Well, that's the problem. He did, but then he woke up from it.
Uh-oh. Huh.
Okay, you guys turned into evil villains quite quickly.
It turns out they may have actually been in secret. They've been searching for that pin after all. Oh. Really?
Oh my god.
Really?
Oh my god, dude, I just realized.
What?
That pin is basically the One Ring.
Wait, all it did was just singe through her jacket. Think that should have done a bit more.
Yeah, even by cartoony standards, this movie has some really
Planet
weird
of the
rules of what will
Apes.
hurt and what won't.
Also, Planet of the Apes. Not for nothing, but the Apes film that came out the previous year was very good.
I mean, let's think about it, Wims. When the
Oh,
protagonist
hey,
touches...
It was better than
Incredibles!
this, definitely. Yeah.
Hey guys, look,
Yeah.
there were Incredibles figures in the background. That was neat.
Yeah.
Freeze frame!
Freeze frame, yeah.
Anyway, yes,
So yeah, hold on. The little girl comes to the rescue.
Not gonna lie, Athena's pretty awesome in this movie.
Mm-hmm. Oh shit. Oh, so it's like in Quantum Break.
Which came out... Wait.
A year after this.
Oh yeah, remember how that game was supposed to be a launch game for the Xbox One? Hindsight.
Also, these guys were the ones to be revealed to be evil pretty quickly, but then there's Hugh Laurie with the entire scene of incredibly ominous and not suspicious lighting, and he still hasn't come out of it yet.
But yeah, well, think about this for a moment, Wibbs. Whenever she touches the pin, she starts seeing visions. The bad guys are after her because of the pin. That's basically what the pin is. It's the One Ring.
Yeah, but why is she collapsing in and around all the places and generally not doing much of anything? She's not Frodo, Pedro.
I know, but I find the parallel interesting.
Yeah, that's one thing that always bothers me in Rings films. Frodo's uselessness. I mean,
that's the thing. That's the thing.
To carry the ring is just.
That's the thing, that's what one of the primary complaints fans of the books have with the Peter Jackson movies, because Peter Jackson is accused of really screwing up Frodo's character because Frodo is a much better character in the books.
Which is so weird because he gets everything else right about them except for Frodo, which is a shame.
If you want to see how a more accurate portrayal of Frodo lives, check out Ralph Bakshi's movie.
Okay.
Because Ralph Bakshi's Frodo is much closer to the book.
And suddenly this has gone Terminator on us.
Get in the car.
Although I'll admit, if this movie did just go for Terminator, that could have been pretty awesome. Okay, now what helps the second act is definitely the action to it, not gonna lie. Which, yeah, we are now about pretty much to head towards that second act.
Well, yeah, Brad Bird is a good director. It's just that it's mostly the writing that I have a problem with in this movie. And the overall story, decisions.
I think it helps in terms of live action movies. Brad only directed Ghost Protocol.
Mm-hmm.
I think the best way to put out this year is like, well, this second act, writing-wise, could have worked if it were in a better-fitting movie. The problem is that the third act does not hold up the second act well enough.
She's explaining something.
What? So it turns out she's an android.
She needs to recharge.
My translator's broken.
So is this the part where you say you're on drugs?
Not that hard, see?
Good decision, you idiot.
You nearly got you both killed.
Oh.
Don't worry, Shiro. She's an android. She can't die from that.
I know, but
Not what that guy knows. As far as that guy knows, he just killed a girl.
Well, that's what you get for not watching the road, like Diz would say.
But now he's got to question why 2 teenagers are driving a car.
And okay, now our
She's the key to the car because
you're gonna have to get used to this for the rest of your life, Dwebs. Most people in movies are shitty drivers.
Sorry, Dwibs. You're never going to be able to watch a Fast and Furious movie ever again.
Wow.
Well, the Fast and Furious movies are primarily popcorn action movies, so it's not like...
I know. It was just a joke.
Well, more so the ones post from the 4th one onwards.
So there you go. She was the one who gave her the pin. Turns out, Shiroi, Casey is the chosen one. Kind of.
Oh, great. These kind of plots I haven't got yet. Oh, Pan did the exact same thing the exact same year.
Better or
maybe
worse?
That's why I bombed. Maybe that's why I bombed. As soon as the words chosen one show up at any point during the movie's promotion, the movie itself, people just go fuck it and don't bother seeing it.
I'll admit, it has been a while since a chosen one plot really has done well at the box office.
Well, here's the thing, guys. Technically, Harry Potter did do the chosen one thing. It's just instead of saying you're the chosen one, they said you're a wizard, Harry. But it still boils down to the same thing.
Well, I mean, it's not until the later movies that they start actually dropping the chosen one,
Yeah, by then... And by then, the films were pretty much a tradition of watching.
I guess.
Uh-oh, a black...
Because it is a line they started explicitly saying in the later films.
Check out this guy, Shiri. No shit, Sherlock. And I'm totally not a robot.
He's dressed in black, so clearly he's official.
They complete with a black van.
Like, they always just turn up dressed in nothing but black. Oh, okay.
Even though we really didn't find the girl, we kind of just found the leftovers.
Not for nothing, but you're a better driver. Why aren't you doing?
Okay, guys, I'm gonna need you to get over the driving thing.
He's a new driver.
I'm sorry, but I just...
I get what you mean, though, Miko. I mean, he's a new driver, so it definitely really does hurt the most seeing... Again... With how strict they are in the driving test procedure, it really does.
Especially round here, if you mess up, you fail.
I know, right?
Like, you pretty much can't make a single mistake. But Dwibs, honestly, with how paranoid you're being now, well, not really paranoid, just like understandably annoyed. You probably should just go into a career as a driving instructor.
I know, right? That could be your true calling.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So apparently something bad may have happened in Tomorrowland where they may have... Oh, yeah, her batteries ran out.
For a futuristic, amazing robot, she doesn't look very useful. I mean, she runs out of juice way too quick.
That's cute. Hide the body like that. That will...
Jova, don't disturb my friend. She's dead tired.
If you don't want him to answer, why did you ring him up?
I wish I was watching Commando instead.
She rings her dad saying, please don't answer, Well, if you're wanting the answer, why did you bring him in the first place, you dummy?
It really does seem weird. Like, well, the first time viewing this, the first 2 acts definitely felt a lot more fun. Maybe it's because I know where the third act is, but this movie doesn't feel as fun as I remember it being.
Also, Dibs, my guess is that it's the whole thing of she wants to phone him so that he knows she's okay, but she doesn't want to have the conversation with him. She just wants him to know that she's okay, and he doesn't need to answer the phone to actually know that.
Does she have a mobile?
Yes. Wait, actually, no.
Yeah, but that's gonna make the father completely go off on one, especially since he thinks she's on drugs at the moment.
That's the problem with uneven pacing, Jova. Movies that have this specific problem of uneven pacing and weird story decisions, they only get worse the more you watch them.
Yeah, and again, knowing where the third act is going, it just makes you realize that we're kind of wasting our time. But we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
Which is a shame, because like I said, Athena's actually pretty awesome.
You know what they say, Jova? Hindsight's a bitch.
Honestly, I'm going to say this right now. It would have been better if Athena was the co-protagonist instead of Casey.
Well, I know who should be the other co-protagonist aside from Athena, but I'm not going to say which one yet.
If you're talking about George Clooney,
George Clooney.
We're kind of already told
their story is the most interesting aspect of this movie, and yet they completely skip over it.
God,
George
yes.
Clooney, aka the guy whose name is for.
You know, the guy who we saw at the start of the movie. Remember, now it's all being.
His name's on the freaking poster.
Yes, George Clooney was advertised as the main character of this goddamn thing, and yet
nothing about the movie says that.
Speaking of which, here's Frank.
We barely see them.
You just saw him for a second. There you go.
That's not George Clooney.
Okay, but you saw the character for a second there. See, that counts.
No, it doesn't.
Okay. Flashback.
Oh, there you go. Now you're seeing flashback.
I forget if this was before or after he knew she was an android. I'm guessing before.
It's after that prologue.
We are the future.
We know it's after the prologue of the movie, but and that's it. I hope you enjoyed
Goodbye, Casey. We're finally giving you the rehab you need.
Seriously, Brad, you couldn't focus on that for just a little more than 5 seconds?
Again.
Also, this despite being using the name of a theme park, the film apparently had praise for its apparently original premise.
Well,
it has an original premise.
It is technically original. The problem is that it's a premise that we could. Okay, not that we couldn't care less.
The structure is a mess.
That kind of praise always felt very useful to me. Again, it's the same thing with praising Heavy Rain for being a unique game for its time. Like, it doesn't matter how unique and original it is. If it's bad, it's still bad. Like, like you can, whoopee, you created something it created a piece of crap that looks nothing like the other pieces of crap. Well, whoop-de-fucking do. Like,
oh, snap a dog.
You see, Dibs, I've crafted this piece of turd. But it's in shape of a pineapple. See?
Oh,
it's much better. It's much better than the other pieces of turd. So yeah, the dog is not real.
Can still cast a good shadow though for some reason.
Okay, maybe
oh my God, he's right. I didn't notice that. How the hell does the dog have a shadow? Holy fuck!
180 to 190 million dollars. They can't get rid of a shadow.
No. That's exactly the point. That is an effect that doesn't need to be there. That's the thing.
And I just pointed it out there in a second.
It's not that it's a bad effect. It's an effect that doesn't need to be there.
No. It's not an effect that doesn't.
You spent like nearly $200 million and you couldn't bother to edit out a shadow.
Go ahead, Shira. You were saying.
It's not that it doesn't need to be there, it's that it shouldn't be there.
Yeah, true. I mean, well, okay. By necessity, yeah, it being a dog, the shadow would be there naturally. The thing is like, well, okay, it's a hologram. It shouldn't cast a shadow unless
It's not actually there.
Unless the shadow's part of the hologram, and I'm sorry, that's just impossible to configure it like that.
Ladies and gentlemen, George Clooney is back.
Finally! We're about an hour into this picture.
Yep, we're at the halfway point at this point.
Hey, Batman. No, I'm not gonna let that one go. No, seriously though, props to George Clooney. He spent years, but gosh dang it, he managed to shake off the stigma that is Batman and Robin and being a renowned actor.
Honestly, I don't even remember there being that much of a stigma to him because of Batman and Robin.
Well, okay. See, here's the thing. Batman and Robin was sort of him starting off his big film career. Like, well, I mean, he was in stuff before, but Batman and Robin was the thing that people recognized him more for back in the day.
I get
Until,
that.
You know, he got better, is what I mean.
I get that, but I never, growing up, I never really got the sense that there was some kind of stigma on him. Because
I say stigma in the sense that he kind of had a bit of trouble finding work after that movie, but eventually managed to shake it off. Like, again, the stigma is called box office poison, where a lot of studio heads believe that a certain actor is bad for business because of a bad movie.
I guess in terms of box office, I guess in terms of movies, movie studios, I guess maybe. In terms of audience, though, I never really noticed the stigma, personally. It was more, I mean, it sounds like something with, for example, Leonardo DiCaprio, where for a long time, audiences always were, as it ended up giving his movie shots because he had the Titanic stigma attached to him. But so it took quite a while for him to shake that off as well.
See, with me, it's actually like you. Like, I never got the sense that there was a stigma with Leonardo DiCaprio after Titanic. In fact, if anything, it seemed that Titanic was the big boost to his career afterwards.
It did boost his career in terms of the movie studios, Joe, but in terms of actual audiences, because a lot of people like me that I know who didn't like Titanic, they took quite a while to finally warm up to him because because of the stigma from that movie, basically.
He did kind of have that thing where he was always yelling in his movies, too, and tended to die a lot.
So, yeah, basically, George Clooney has become... hold on. Might as well wait.
Oh my god, is this girl on drugs or something?
So Dwibs. Basically, George Clooney has become Harold Finch. Apparently, like there's so many. His house looks like a surveillance center. I wish I was watching Person of Interest right now.
So she set a bulldozer on fire.
But yeah, allow me to. Can you even imagine, Dwibs, Brad Bird on set? Okay, telling the post-production crew. Okay, make sure. There's a shadow on that. Make sure that there's that effect when she touches the dog, so that because it's an hologram, so she should go for the dog. Sir, but there's a shadow. I'm honestly going to tell me that nobody in post production noticed the shadow during editing. I mean, I can understand missing it while shooting, but that's what post production is for.
Ha! Okay, that line was funny. Oh, looks like he got married at some point.
The trombone slidey thing.
No.
You know, look at this from George Clooney's perspective. A girl you don't know barges onto your property, sets your bulldozer on fire, tricks you into going out...
the more interesting part of the story.
Oh, yeah. About that... I'm not like other girls.
Oh yeah, so this is where he finds out she's a robot. All right, that was another little taste of it. Hope you enjoyed it. Back to this.
Back to George Clooney being reasonable. Breaks into his house, and yet he's treated as a miserable curmudgeon.
I mean, again, look at it from this perspective. As far as you know, a girl who's on drugs, no, I'm not letting that one go, has pretty much taken over his house.
See, there you go, Dubs. He is Harold Finch.
He's even got all the computers.
Look at this. Look at how bad humanity is gone.
Don't you see, Jova? You're being watched. The government has a secret system, a machine that spies on you every hour of every day.
And there's the little countdown timer we've been seeing from.
We know because we know because we wrote.
No. We know, Jova, because George Clooney made it.
Oh snap!
No, you don't. You just barged into his house.
Yeah, I kind of wish we could have seen that, but whatever.
So he apparently created a machine that can predict how screwed the world is.
Yeah, come on, work with me here. What's her name again?
Casey?
Yeah. Work with me, Casey. Come on. Let's try not to over-convolute this. I disagree, Casey. I wouldn't want to know.
Oh god, no, let's not do the whole I'm going cross-eyed thing.
I seriously completely misunderstand what she said there. Like, why would someone want to know when they're gonna die? That would make you paranoid for the rest of your life.
Oh, what's this? Her showing a bout of hope caused the probability to go from 100% to 99.9994%. You just made it go down a few digits. Clearly you are the chosen one.
Yeah, you made it go down by 0.00005%.
Actually 0.0006.
Whatever, the point is you made it go down by a tiny little fraction. You're the chosen.
Uh-oh. I said this with a smile.
So, put down your weapon. You have 20 seconds to comply.
It's like in a 209.
That's what I said. Great. God, what's the name of those things, Jova?
What?
I forgot the English word for them.
For
those things right there. The thing that
the
George
shutters?
Clooney... That's it, shutters. Thank you.
I mean, that's okay. Can I address a problem?
What?
Go ahead.
Most of this movie hasn't even really been all that optimistic. It's mostly been about her being miserable about her parents, and then there's all stuff about climate change and terrorism and explosions and all that. But now we're having cartoony deaths.
Don't you see, Dribs? Again, like she said, there are two wolves. One is of light and hope, the other of darkness and despair.
So what you're saying, Dibs, is uneven storytelling.
Yeah.
It's the two wolves battling, and I'd rather be playing Pokemon Sword or Shield about this.
I mean, that'd be like if we had a scene of someone killing a baby, then with animal hygiene. Wait. Yeah, ignore that. Moving on.
I mean, I guess at least with Tarzan we had some spacing between those.
So what's that supposed to do?
Chop him in half?
It's mostly the fact that they're happening literally back to back with each other, because these kinds of things can work as long as you have transitions so that the tone can naturally change from one side of the spectrum to the other side of the spectrum. Problem is that Brad just keeps alternating from one extreme to the other.
In like the blink of an eye, nearly.
Yeah. Hey, Shiroi.
Hi.
Basically, we infiltrated George Clooney's house, and yet Casey, for some reason, still thinks she owes him explanations. And the robots infiltrated and are attacking us, but as you can see, Casey's got it.
Wouldn't you like to know?
We'll find out eventually.
It's okay, Shiroi. We're gonna travel on our bathtub.
Hey, it worked in Halloween Town.
I guess.
Which is also Disney.
Well, it always was, actually.
No,
Siri,
I know.
Siri, at this point, it's easy to name what isn't Disney.
We're rocketing sky high in the bathtub.
Yeah, but that one was Disney before Disney started going on a spending spree.
Yes! Perfect landing. Oh, I guess it had airbags in it, to be fair.
And of course, they deployed late, as airbags do.
Yeah.
What is up with the timing on those things?
Movie cliche. The filmmakers think it's funny.
Lol.
Oh my god, she has sentimentality towards her hat that hasn't been established yet.
Hold on, let me do my best Brad Bird impression. It's funny, Dwips.
Oh,
Laugh.
don't you see her hat? It's her dad's, and that's why she can't let it go, even though her dad's still alive.
You can still get an attachment to things, though, even if the person who gave them to you is still alive.
True. Yeah, he's not like any of those cliched parents you see in those self-help flicks. Oh, now you want to play psychiatrist, do you?
Yeah, George Clooney, psychiatrist.
Guess you would need psychological help after Batman and Robin.
Don't worry, Joey. He had a yard.
Java, by this point, that was way behind him.
The scars.
Besides, Joey, even back then, he could always fall back on VR.
Honestly, Java...
Oh yeah, he did have VR.
Honestly, Java, I don't even hear anyone joke about his role in Batman and Robin. Most people have even seem to have forgotten about it, even. Usually when people talk about Batman and Robin, they mostly mention Arnold Schwarzenegger's Mr. Freeze or Chris O'Donnell.
Poison Ivy.
Nowadays, I don't really hear anybody joke about George Clooney being in that movie, to be honest.
Teen Titans Go did.
Yeah, but that is reference humor though all over the place, so of course they would.
I mean, okay. If you look in the right places, you'll find people making a joke about it. Like it is really a bad movie. Oh.
No, because she betrayed me.
Wrong Batman.
No, it is. Well, remember, Dwebs, he already said the reason he left Tomorrowland was because they threw him out. So clearly there was some kind of betrayal.
He made him sound like freaking Christian Bale Batman.
Oh, hold on. So maybe
awkward.
That's
awkward car journeys. They're fun.
Not yet. Wait till the third act.
She's 24.
No, she's like 16 or something.
Let me guess. She's actually 24, but she got held back a lot in high school.
Okay, so you score. Okay. So
how old is the character actually supposed to be?
A teenager, so 13 or 16 something.
All right, go ahead, Pedro.
I think she's supposed to be like. Is it? I think she's supposed to be like in her early 20s, maybe.
She would have to be somewhere from like 13. So she'd be the 13 to 19.
Yeah, probably 18.
She's still in high school though, so.
So 16.
They say, oh, you gave one to a teenager, and she answers, "Oh, I got a 73 on whatever it was." How exactly are your grades relevant to this conversation, honey?
She's incredibly smart.
Anyway, you were saying, Pedro?
I'm saying it right now. That's kind of irrelevant to this subject matter, Casey. Actually, but back over there. Yes, can we go to Tomorrowland, please?
Yeah, that's the thing, Shiroi. All this movie is spent to us actually trying to get to Tomorrowland.
It should be called Getting to Tomorrowland.
Journey to the Center of the Earth or Tomorrowland.
In a sense. It's got the same energy.
It's kind of like how Peter Jackson's King Kong. It took us like 1 hour to finally see the Kong on screen.
Although, I'll give that movie credit. At least when we got Kong, we got him in sufficient screening time.
Yeah, we
like Tomorrowland in this.
We did the joke, but let's not forget how when we did. People can see the commentary if you want to see it, guys. But as a little sneak peek, when we finally get to the island, even Tail was like, "The legends were true. The island exists."
You know.
Anyway, I found the reason. I found the reason why this film round here was called Tomorrowland: The World Beyond.
Because you guys didn't have Tomorrowland at your parks?
No, actually, a company called ID&T, a Dutch entertainment firm, trademarked the name Tomorrowland in 2005 for their music festival. Same name.
Also, Jova, for that to happen, we'd have to have our own Disney parks, which we in the UK do not have.
Exactly.
We could go over to Paris on this stuff.
It's also
Florida, the pinnacle Disney.
Yeah, hell yeah. Anyway, you were saying something, Shiroi?
I can't remember. I'll get back to you if I do.
Yeah, that's the spirit. Okay, question, Shiroi.
Mm-hmm.
If you were to see a King Kong movie,
I've seen the movie. I have seen the movie you were just referring to.
Ah, okay.
And even I remembered what I was going to say now on that note. I didn't exactly know what the problem was until after the fact, but even watching that movie back then, because it was such a long time ago and I was still quite young, it was a drag. It was very much a drag of a film.
To give you an idea, the original 1930s
that too before I saw it.
The original 1930s movie, sure, was a 90-minute film, and yet Peter Jackson thought it was a good idea to double that length.
Hell,
for
all
hours.
For all the problems Kong Skull Island had, at least that film was overly long. It didn't take us long to meet Kong there.
Yeah, just as blind, you got that right. So, all right, Shira, we're finally going to Tomorrowland. Hopefully.
Yeah, like an hour and 15 minutes.
Let me guess, they're gonna not get there for a while because they kind of misfire.
You'll see.
You'll see. Oh, I forgot you. Also, while you were gone, we also had an holographic. Also, yeah, we also had an holographic projection of a bit more of the past between George Clooney and Athena. Basically, there was a conversation where he was trying to make her laugh, and the girl was Athena was trying to say, turn away from him. What's wrong? And basically, she was about to reveal to him that she was a robot because he wasn't aware. But we cut out for more stuff.
The future is weird.
okay, I get this is going to be bumpy, but did you really need that line in there?
Apparently,
Like, wouldn't the line just be "Don't pee yourself"? Like saying "Don't pee on us." That's just awkward.
apparently they're equating this to space travel, which apparently you have to do a lot of stuff to prepare for. Like, in this case, apparently it involves consuming some
hold
weird
on, Java.
substance.
Hold on, Joe. It looks like George might be getting a bit of his faith back because of the Chosen. We finally found the Chosen One, maybe? We'll see.
Oh, I don't know, the movie's glitching.
Ladies and gentlemen, we apologize, but we are suffering from some technical difficulties. Please stand
Also,
by.
seizure warning. A little late, but still.
Ow. Again, girl, are you sure you're not on drugs?
Yeah, 2 bottles.
Yeah, let's drink some beer.
I'm pretty sure they've expired, but
Is that
Yeah, I could go
Pepsi
for-
or Coke?
Yeah, I could go for a beer right now as well.
well, actually, that's Coke.
Apparently you get really dehydrated after whatever it is they just did. Which, now that I think
Maybe
about
it just drains the fluids out of you.
it never really gets explained what exactly they did.
What?
Shiroi. He said, "Don't pee on us." So, and now we have to restore our fluids. So apparently they all peed in there or something.
Eh?
I don't know. I'm trying to interpret the fucking line of the movie.
And look at it here, we're at the Eiffel Tower in Paris.
Well, Joe, think about this for a moment. George warned her, "Don't pee on us," and then after that, we learned that they ran out of fluid, so they have to drink those cokes to recharge their body fluids. So, what exactly am I supposed to take from those 2 moments exactly?
You know, I never really thought of it like that. Maybe because I
Exactly.
didn't want to really think about it.
I'm trying to think of an explanation, but I'm having some difficulty.
I'm thinking dehydration, but yeah, that does really make one wonder where all the fluids went.
Yeah, maybe moving that fast just makes you dehydrated for some reason.
I would be fine with that, Shiroi, if it wasn't for the "don't pee on us" thing, because
Maybe
there
it
has to be
implies that
some
it
reason why he
messes
felt it.
Maybe it implies that also
Well,
messes with your
maybe.
bowel
Well, that
movements.
didn't happen because he'd be more annoyed.
Well, isn't it so nice, guys, us discussing this about this movie? Whether or not they peed.
Again, it wouldn't be a problem if the movie did a better job.
Don't.
If the movie had, again, Joe, if the movie had a better story, this wouldn't be an issue.
Yay, he's human! We knocked him out! Sorry, friends.
Anyway, yes, Twibs?
Well, to be fair, Joe, we're trying to sneak around.
That's my new way of communicating that I don't think a joke is funny.
Oh, look at that!
I got it off a movie review that is a review a guy named Calvin Dyson did on the '60s Casino Royale.
Okay.
Oh, look at that. Eiffel was apparently in on Tomorrowland. That's right, apparently every single architect was in on Tomorrowland.
Usually I prefer the classic ha 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 ha.
LOL's shorter and more to the point, in my opinion.
Well, you know me, Dwebs. I like to be elaborate.
Stay on top of it. That's what you should have told the writers.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the problem with this movie.
All
And
right.
yeah, that's another thing. It keeps. Apparently, this movie thinks that pointing out its problem will make the problems go away. There was that just then. I think I don't know if we missed a line, but there's a line that's like, okay, will you give them like 1 second of cars flying through the air and that, like Brad Damon.
Yeah, we've talked.
You're not fixing the problem; you're just bringing it up.
We've been talking about this as well, mostly in our reference ref playthrough. Again, pointing out your problem doesn't make it go away. The big problem is that again, the sad part is that wouldn't even become an issue if you probably at least if you didn't even bring it up. Like
Bon voyage. Uh-oh.
You know, if all the statues are going to come to life for a second. Like
That's right.
The museum.
Okay, get ready for this because everyone in France actually gets to see this. The Eiffel Tower is splitting open.
How many people in Paris were fast asleep at this point?
No. That's the penguins. Actually, look at that. There's actually some people literally there. I can just imagine the people that
is crushing them.
Can you imagine the people that may have killed? And yes, everyone's got this on their smartphone too.
Yes, Peter?
It's kind of like how in Red Sonja Dwibs, where we literally have Harney turn to the main female character. So the only guy that can marry you is one who tries to kill you. That's logic.
Says something when Arnold Schwarzenegger points out the flaws.
Yeah. When you have, that's when you know a movie is bad. When Arnold Schwarzenegger is pointing out the plot holes.
And they just killed the guard.
Well, to be fair, they were robots, weren't they?
The problem is that when we get to the third act, them killing the humans, I guess makes sense in some case. Oh, no, I get that. Well, I mean, it's like, them killing the humans kind of makes a bit less sense when you get down to it, when we figure out the third act.
Sure. Another big problem as well is, of course, the underdeveloped characters. The characters are given very little time for fleshing them out. Like we're just kind of constantly moving forward.
For comparison's sake, John Carter's characters, while definitely badly written, were at least fleshed out to the point where we got to know them well enough. Lone Ranger actually went to... Thank you, Manna, yes. Lone Ranger went to other lengths to actually get us to know the Lone Ranger, Tonto, and the other characters well enough, too. The characters that we needed to know about. This movie, in a weird twist, though, again, it's weird. Even though we've been seeing the story mainly from Casey, it feels like we know more about George Clooney's character than we do Casey.
That's because we actually did have a couple little short flashbacks with him and
again, everyone in Paris is seeing this. So I'm guessing there's not going to be any investigation of the Eiffel Tower, which just split open.
So
EMP burst.
So France's most iconic and emblematic monument has just turned into a spaceship, and all the Parisians can do is just stare and watch.
Well, to be fair, they were recording it on their smartphones, and what else is there to do?
Well, I know that, but if it were me, I would be panicking. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, what if Big Ben all of a sudden turned into a missile?
Or the Statue of Liberty turned into a mecha. Wait, no, Ghostbusters 2 did that. And it was awesome!
I could see that happen in a 1960s Bond movie.
I'm actually surprised they haven't done that.
Well, we've kind of moved on from the 1960s era Bond movies. So.
Okay, this is
for as much nostalgia as I have for those, they're outdated.
Okay, folks, get ready. This is where the movie starts to get trippy in more ways than one.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the third act of Tomorrowland.
And oh boy, is it a portal into a different movie.
Yeah, at this basically Shiroi... Oh.
No, I'm here.
Hello.
Basically, Shiroi, the movie is over. Now, from this point on, we're watching we're watching a different one.
Now, okay, so honest question, Shiroi. Have you been having fun up to this point?
So she should have died at this point, right?
Yes. Well,
That
okay.
too,
I guess maybe they had airbags in there, but I digress.
But anyway, are you having fun with this movie so far, Shiroi?
I mean, pacing-wise, it's a bit of a mess, but it's not that bad. Like, in terms of the actual content.
Good. You're in the perfect
why?
mindset then, because get ready, ladies and gentlemen. You've probably heard about it. If you saw the movie, you know what's coming. Yes, this is Tomorrowland, the third act. Seriously, this might as well be a movie in and of itself. There have been...
Yeah, sure. This is...
say humanity is its own destruction movie or something.
Oh. You are...
all right, I am leaving now.
Nope. Sorry, Shiroi, you signed on for this movie. You get everything that comes with it, including a message that comes the fudge out of nowhere.
Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Shiroi just cracked the code. Dwebs, tell her what she won.
You get to watch the rest of this movie.
Although,
so I want disappointment.
Okay. Believe it or not, Sheree, though, that is not the worst thing about the movie. If it were just a simple humanity is its own road to ruin thing, that would be annoying, but it wouldn't bring the movie down. It's how they go about doing it.
It was just the whole, again, nothing. When you see a utopia, you know it's going to go to shit. That's just how it is. I love stories that have a utopia, but I know where it's going to go eventually.
About that, Shiroi. Now that we're here at Tomorrowland, you may notice it's not quite as happy looking. In fact, it's actually kind of desolate and wrecked.
As I'm saying, they had all these smart and creative people all in one place, and they eventually doomed themselves.
Hey,
it's impressive.
Hello, I've come here to basically embarrass
Star
myself.
Trek?
Hello, I am in this movie.
You'll have to apologize me. I mean, unfortunately, this is the best I could get after House ended.
He does look miserable, to be fair.
To be fair, though, doesn't he always look miserable? Like, it's just his face.
I'd argue no. Like, even in House, even though the character was pretty tragic, he didn't look this, oh my god, end my life kind of...
Well, the thing with House is that Dr. House is constantly snickering and making jokes to mask the fact that he's a miserable person.
I know, but we do see him miserable, and even then he doesn't look this defeated.
Oh, trust me, Shiro. Trust me, Shiro. That's only you only say that because you've seen stuff from season 1 and 2. Trust me, we see plenty of misery happen to House over the course of the entire show.
So how would you say that compares to how miserable he looks in this page, Joe?
No, that's the thing, Jova. Even when his character in House is at his most miserable, it's still compelling because it's fucking Hugh Laurie. He's an amazing actor.
Well, let's see what he can do with this script.
And it's actually well written as well. Like, for example, there's one particular... Hold on.
Wait for it. Yep, he's Nix, the governor who's been trying to kill them.
Dun, dun, dun. Dun. Turns out, Shiroi, Hugh Laurie is the villain. Who would have thought?
I don't know, again, the ominous lighting in the beginning kind of gave it away, even if Dwibbs didn't say anything.
Basically, Shiroi, they think Casey can save the world.
How? Oh, God. I'm still trying to figure that out.
Curious, although funnily enough, this will be the last time that both Hugh Laurie and George Clooney are in the same thing together. A few years later, they're in a show called Catch-22.
Was that good?
I've heard it was. I haven't seen it myself.
Look at it. Everything has gone to ruin. The electricity is coursing everywhere, uncontrolled. And
that
why?
Looks incredible. That looks incredibly dangerous. Actually, can somebody please turn those things off?
Not sure. You're probably wondering what brought Tomorrowland to ruin. Here's a great bit. We never get to see what brought it to ruin.
Normally, this would be the point where I make some Dr. House impression jokes, but Dwebs would be better off doing that because he actually is British.
The monitor.
I don't know, Hugh. As far as utopian futuristic shit goes, it's pretty bland, if you ask me.
So here's the thing. The place we've been getting to is actually not in its prime heyday, which means, sorry, we won't get to do anything really interesting here. I mean, sure, we'll have some action scenes, but nothing really having to do with Tomorrowland itself.
Yeah, I'm really sorry about the electricity. The people here are a bunch of morons.
Was that you doing your David Nix impression?
No,
I was doing Dr. House.
Trying to.
Yes, House is the one playing David Nix.
In order for it, remember, Jova, it's a British playing an American Dwebs has to both imitate Hugh Laurie's voice, but also implement his best American accent.
Oh, I get it. So you're going for his house thing. Isn't that cool, guys? You can see stuff from the future.
A few seconds into the future.
Oh no, her hat! The thing that she held dear to her. That reminded her of her father, and now it's gone.
And I don't care. Moving on.
But the hat! The hat! Oh god, no.
No, it's her iconic hat as Ubisoft.
You know, here's the thing. Pirates of the Caribbean. Jack's hat has nothing to do with his father. But holy cow, I get his connection with his hat better in those movies than I do better with this girl's hat in this. It's like they were trying to do a throwback to Pirates of the Caribbean.
Basically, Shiroi, Hugh Laurie's primary role in this movie, even in terms of being a villain, is just to stay here and spout exposition about what happened during the time skip that we did.
I'll give him this. He's kind of entertaining trying to make heads or tails of this plot.
Well, he's Hugh Laurie. When is he ever not entertaining? The problem is, even Hugh Laurie can save this one, sorry.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. This is one of those two cases where he can fail to be entertaining. Alright, so hologram.
Wow, Google Earth really was the future.
You see, Shiroi, in the future, we travel around the world with a sphere.
Now you can pretty much see what's going on in any place of the world using a mini globe of sorts.
She knows how things work, huh?
How keen. Do we ever talk about how this dimension came to be?
Oh, it's explaining now. Hold on. Well, it wasn't funny, Hugh. Sorry.
Lol.
At least they didn't do the whole, where are we? I think you mean when.
3D! That was an effect for the 3D screening.
Mm-hmm.
Was this movie shown in... Yeah, it probably had
Probably at
IMAX.
this point.
You can go forwards in time.
3D movies have kind of stopped being as prevalent as they were, but yeah, they were still fairly prevalent.
Oh
back
yeah,
in
yeah.
2015.
They're definitely still a thing. As long
No, they're still a thing, Jova, but at least here in my country, they're nowhere near as prevalent as before.
Makes sense. That's right. In a few...
There you go, Shiroi.
The future will be wrecked.
Not just in Cape Canaveral either.
Oh no, it became the plot of WALL-E.
Whoa, whimsical movie, guys.
As you can realize, Shiroi, this is an
Revolutions! War!
An environmental
movie. Yes,
Not
that's
just
It's not just environmental.
It has to do with war and everything. Basically...
Well, look, if I wanted to watch a movie with this message from Disney, I'd watch WALL-E. And that's not even technically Disney.
That's Pixar.
Well,
yeah.
actually, it is Disney.
They're a subsidiary of Disney. I still count it.
I mean, look. The fact that Pixar now shows up in Kingdom Hearts, they're Disney. It's like trying to differentiate an Australian from a British man. Who put them
And
on
again, they are a
You're
subsidiary,
British.
so I still count it.
Okay, I guess, but at the same time, I know, Dwebs, are kangaroos common in England?
What?
No.
I was
Okay,
talking about Australians and British, not the animals.
Well, wait. All that's apparently just 58 days away.
I can understand people mistaking Australia for England, though,
There
for
you go,
various reasons.
Yeah, Dwebs brought up a good point. There you go, Shira. In just about 2 months, this is what's going to happen. The world will end in 2 months.
Even though they say a month, you idiots.
Yeah, they said a month. Why did they say a month? 58 days is nearly 2 months.
I know, right?
Okay, apparently Hugh Laurie can count.
Okay, so...
It depends what month it is. I mean, is it like June, July, or January, February?
Well, Shiroi, 58 days, regardless of the months, 58 days is still closer to 2 months than a month. So I'm I'm still calling
I know that.
All right, tell her, Hugh. See, look, he even seems reluctant in saying it.
Humanity, Pedro. They are inherently violent beings.
Exactly. See?
Did David Cates take cues from this?
Java, plenty of people have done this bullshit.
But God, it's the way these guys do it, though. It feels way too close to home.
But there was a flicker just...
So there you go. Apparently, So yeah, did you notice that when she touched that thing briefly, Shiroi, it changed into a better future for a bit?
Yeah.
And when George Clooney was trying to convince us, she can maybe change the future. And Hugh Laurie tased him for it. So apparently, Hugh Laurie is trying to keep humanity down in the shitter.
And
because we deserve it for some reason.
Now, here's the thing I actually hate the most about this third act. It's not just the message, but here's the thing. They never show us exactly what the device is that George Clooney made that got him exiled. They never show us exactly what is affecting all of this stuff. It is so vaguely explained how they solve stuff or how stuff is the way it is. And this is really what bugs me as to why we didn't have the plot build up from his childhood up to the present. Because, again, we don't get the right info on proper stuff, which is later going to come majorly into factor with this.
Yeah, the problems of this movie summed up in a nutshell. This movie is not about hope. It's the opposite of hope. It's the opposite of hope.
Okay.
Being less subtle than Dangam Romp.
Okay, I will give this movie one credit. To be fair, it's the villains that are saying humans are naturally evil and violent, and it's not like Detroit Become Human where it was the good guys saying it.
But don't you see, Dwebs? You're a terrible person for enjoying the Danganronpa games, as V3 very clearly stated.
There's a special place in hell.
Well, to be
for
fair,
V3's
I'm having
mentions.
problems with even. Well, to be fair, I'm having problems with even the first game.
But that's the thing, though. At least the first game didn't, outright insult you for buying and playing it, unlike V3. Oh.
I saw Brad Bird's career. Well, his live-action career, I should say.
So I'm guessing it's the monitor that he created? Again, they're never clear about what it is Frank Walker created that got him evicted. Did I miss something, Pedro?
I don't know, Joe. I'm kind of dozed off. Maybe
Bibs?
I wouldn't know what to tell you.
Okay, yeah. Shiroi, you're the newbie. Have you noticed anything I may have missed in the 3 times I'm now watching this movie?
I mean, I don't think so.
Isn't it so nice when a movie is...
Okay, so, well, regardless, the basic point is, apparently the future predicting thingy is predicting it wrong for some reason.
That's very weird.
And apparently that is going to doom humanity because it means that people are automatically giving into darkness and despair. So
darkness.
So essentially, sure, the solution is turn off the machine and people will be more optimistic. There you go.
Put down your phones, kids.
Okay,
there
one at a time. There's only so much of this BS I can take.
So there you go. Apparently the machine picked one possible future and is declaring it as the only possible one for some reason. Basically, it's malfunctioning.
Again, how does this thing affect humanity, seeing as how humanity aren't even in touch with Tomorrowland?
Hold on. Dun, dun, dun.
Again, I'm just gonna ask, how is this causing the world to be doomed if humanity outside of Tomorrowland don't even see the clock going?
Hold on, let's hear the explanation. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. The government just won't listen to you, Glory, because the government is only interested in profits and money.
Oh? What's this? Apparently they found a way of beaming this critical news into everyone's head.
Don't bring chocolate eclairs in this.
Yeah, so I'm to believe that humanity saw the possible lead to their doom that they would not try and do anything about it?
The entire world wholeheartedly embraced the apocalypse.
Okay. There's generalizations, and then there's flipping this. So, are we to be told... Is this implying that you guys actually did try to beam this in? Because that would be telling over showing.
Hugh, did you actually read this part of the script before you said yes? There you go. No matter what we do, humanity is just doomed because humanity is dumb and greedy and evil.
For history's sake, actually, the Titanic kind of got scraped by the iceberg because it was trying to veer away, not that it was steering towards it. Just saying, if you want to make your history analogies, choose ones that make sense.
Basically, sure, what this movie is telling you is that this is all your fault.
Again, it's so vague and confusing, so apparently they showed the world this, but somehow they recalculated that everyone completely took it up on their offer and are completely okay with the apocalypse.
Honestly, Jova, considering the kind of story this is turned into, it's very blatantly humanity sucks kind of thing, and I'm just going to take myself out of this.
Well, that's the thing, though. It's not even it doesn't even commit to that, really, because later, believe it or not, Sherry, the actual message is optimism be key, yo. Again, remember the whole theme of light and hope versus darkness and despair? Apparently, how much we're actually destined to be doomed or not is based off of how optimistic we are.
I think Richard Roper said it best with the final line of his review of this movie. Okay, we get it. We need to do better. Now can we get back to the flying cars?
Oh, actually, apparently I was wrong. Apparently they do show that robot again.
For like a second.
Yeah. And now it's evil. What a shame.
Okay, 2 seconds now. 3, 4. Whatever. The point is that robot barely factors into the movie.
You should know how everything works. You're the chosen one.
Now they're in Hawaii.
I guess.
Speaking of what the story that this has turned into, Shiroi, did you notice something missing as well?
What?
When exactly are we going to have a more proper explanation and overall showing to us of what happened between George Clooney and Athena?
We haven't had that. Flashback.
It's like I said, it's so vague.
You did mention it earlier. We haven't had it yet. Huh.
Yeah, but Brad and Lindelof thought it would be much more interesting to do a humanity sucks storyline, I guess.
Oh, so are you saying we're never getting that flashback?
Well,
I think we're not getting a flashback.
It's very vague.
We're not getting a flashback, Shiroi. At least I don't think we are.
I don't know, because you said it's told to us, right?
Yeah, we're not gonna get a flashback, Shiroi. I don't remember we did. Maybe a short one, maybe at best. But we're going to get one final heartfelt moment between the two as a payoff for the whole thing. Again, it would have worked just fine if we actually focused on that instead of this. Where is the bomb?
We're using a bomb to blow up a device just to make it so that people won't be so down in the dumps that they'll give up all hope. Oh, and now they're trapped.
What happened? Someone set up us the bomb.
Oh,
we get signal. Main screen turn on.
Wait, it went from 1 minute to 45 seconds in the span of 3 seconds. What?
Space is warped and time is bendable.
Okay. Bye.
All right. Time for us to struggle. Who will be able to continue on with his career?
Apparently both.
Okay.
Wow.
Also, yeah, like houses got bashed in.
Huh.
Poor Hugh Laurie, yeah. He's 3 years out from house and he's playing a role where he's gets knacked in again.
Maybe this is the secret origin to House.
No, we already had the origin episode back in season 1.
Or maybe this is the super prologue origin.
Nah, if it were that, Joe, it would be even worse than season 7.
The origin story is
Oh
actually.
no, he's. Oh.
The origin story, when it comes to the life, is actually my personal favorite episode.
Guys, the future version of him gets shot, so she gets in front of him this time. Which, doesn't that mean that the future is actually not written there? And oh god, I get
shit,
the message.
Hugh Laurie killed Athena. No.
She was quite possibly the best character in this movie.
I know it's not saying much, but still. So there you go, Shiori. Now we have to see him saying goodbye to her as she dies and blah, blah, blah. So that's sorry, Shiori, that's all you'll get.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
At least I think it is. Let me see if they cut to a flashback, maybe.
Shutting down.
Before the cup final.
She's going to confess something to him. Hold on. So it turns out she never actually got around to saying it to him.
Oh.
Oh, there you go, flashbacks.
Aww.
Last minutes of this movie are a diary?
Yeah.
Kinda.
Yeah, you know what, Brad and Lindelof, I would have
Again,
preferred
you
if
know what I
would have preferred if the whole movie was this story. Just saying.
I really do wonder if we even needed Casey, honestly.
Not really. I would have much preferred to see their story, to be honest.
Do we even need Hugh Laurie in this?
Well, technically, he was still the one who was cared. Remember, he was in the prologue, so technically, he could have still been in it.
Maybe.
Aww. This message will now self-destruct.
In 5, there, self-destruct. Yeah, it would be self-destructed in 1 second, even though you set 5 to over because.
Props for the actors for, despite the lack of build-up to this, trying their best to sell this scene.
They really definitely do, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one thing. The acting is actually pretty good.
Yeah, throughout this movie.
Brad Pitt's generally pretty good at directing actors. So, yeah.
No, the actors are trying their best to sell the shitty script, but it's just...
Like, even the child actors, I mean, I say child, like, they're in their 20s, but that's still quite young, and they're still doing a great job with trying to hold this together.
This is just one of those tragic cases where the movie, where the music is good, the effects are pretty good, the acting is good. It's just that one little pesky thing, the writing.
The script.
It's not like it's the movie's spied already. Think it out. Wait.
It really does show how writing can affect a film.
Well, it depends on the. Well, depends.
I'll be honest though. Even I've enjoyed other films with bad scripts. I even managed to enjoy Venom.
True,
well, that's
obviously. But Venom is a movie enjoyed because of how 90s bad it is. Whereas this film, it's funny. It's funny how one of the lines literally talks about her saying about how she gave him hope, but then he felt that he lost it and he blames her for it. That's what this movie's like. This movie gives you hope in the first 2 thirds that you're going to get a good time. Then it takes that hope away with its awful third act.
It's as for the whole spine thing. Well, it depends on the movie. If you're talking about a traditional 3-act story, yeah, definitely. But if it's something like an experience type of film, kind of like 2001: A Space Odyssey, then the script becomes a bit more secondary to the visuals and the overall ride of the director. But again, that's a topic.
Ha ha ha.
Ha, she laughed.
Again, there was something wrong when nobody, even Brad Bird, you'd think Brad would be the one to say this. Guys, why don't we just make a movie about these two?
I mean, okay.
Maybe he got fed up for making movies about family.
You have to wonder if Casey was meant to be like, the audience surrogate for the teenage audience, because in some ways this movie does feel like it's trying to go for the whole Generations Unite thing. Oh. Kaboom!
There goes. It's like the Epcot Center.
Maybe we should move. Just saying. Or if you want to stay there, Casey, that's fine. Oh, wait, this bit.
Sorry.
Wait. Let's give it up for Hugh Laurie.
Bollocks.
Oh! Cue the laugh track.
Get it? Because he's British.
Oh!
Yeah, maybe you should have moved away.
They dragged poor Hugh Laurie into this thing, and that's the best we get from him.
Oh, bollocks, indeed.
Yeah, basically. This movie shares one of my big primary problems that I have with Final Fantasy X. In the sense that we have a really great storyline that could potentially make a great story on its own, and yet it's relegated to the background when it clearly should not be.
I mean, at least I could get some enjoyment out of 10, but I definitely see what you mean, though, about that backstory element thing.
Oren Brock inject. Oren Braska inject. That's what the game should have been, Joe. Come on.
Well, I will say that it did kind of become about Jack at the last bit. Oren, I definitely agree, though. They should have given him more focus. Hey, at least he's now fighting in the underworld, though, like a badass.
True. Even Spoonie mentioned that.
So, yes, world saved because we blew up... I guess we blew up the monitor, whatever his devising was.
So, Shiroi, I hope you've learned a valuable lesson today.
Be optimistic. You can't let darkness and despair get you down.
And don't fuck up the world, okay?
And
Hey, listen. In the world as it is now, fuck you, movie.
I know, right? I mean, it's weird. It doesn't even feel like much was accomplished, seeing as how all that's left is just those two in that one silent moment, and it's like, yay, the world was saved, I guess. It's so
But it's okay, Joe. But it's okay,
We
Joe,
saved
because
the universe.
but it's okay, Joe, because now, thanks to all the other pins, they're going to basically gather more creative geniuses that are going to work together and rebuild Tomorrowland so we can save the world.
And you see, guys, basically, them retelling the story of this is all some recording for new recruits.
What about her dad?
Her dad's gonna come over and live in Tomorrowland, I guess. Like, so do people live here now? Do they ever come out to the real world?
Honestly, does it even matter? Her father was barely in this thing.
I know, but it's been shown that she loves her family, so...
Well, remember that scene where she comes out of that portal to meet her father and little brother?
How nice. Moving on.
Better script than this one.
Dreamers. Uh-huh. Maybe you want to be a bit more specific?
So what, is this the plot of Ricky Shark Boy and Lava Girl now? You have to dream stuff into existence.
Oh, wait. Oh, there you go, Dwibs. There's the father and the brother.
No, Dwibs. That's Troll in Central Park. As long as you dream it, it will happen.
Oh, Shark Boy and Lava Girl did that.
Yeah, Shark Boy and Lava Girl was more so about how creativity was important to that of a child, as opposed to, just stuffing up.
Which is ironic, considering that was a really all that creative movie.
Hey, I haven't given up. Well, I've given up on this movie, but I haven't given up on so many other things.
Yeah, I survived Batman and Robin. At this point, anything's...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, some of these look like they're kids. Like, are their parents okay with this?
Okay, movie. You just ended. Just end. Like you've tortured us enough. Come on.
Nope. Sorry. Still gotta pretend like we've got a point here. He played music. Clearly, he belongs in Tomorrowland.
They're fixing stuff.
That qualifies as a creative genius.
Yeah. Never mind that. She's
working on a car. Therefore, she deserves a medal too. Hey, I got a major from RIT, Rochester Institute of Technology. Where's my medal?
You mean pin?
Pin. Medal, whatever. And he did, I don't even know what. She planned something. She belongs in Tomorrowland. She's a judge.
What if someone invents basically... but guys, I invented the cure for the common cold.
He's a math teacher. Put him on board.
But I invented the common cold cure.
You're doing a very poor job.
Oh, look, she's a ballerina. She deserves to be on.
Wait, a ballerina? How is a ballerina supposed to help?
She's a mountain climber.
But how does that relate to?
Sure.
Well, they wanted artists as well.
Yeah, but they're so random. Like, but by this knowledge, I should be able to get in just because I'm a professional sax player.
Shouldn't they all be walking into their walls right about now?
Yeah, they probably will be. Thanks a lot. Unless, wait. How much you want to bet they updated the technology?
Good job, George. Good job. And that's it.
Yeah, done. No, you've not done good. You've done the opposite of good.
You done goofed.
Brad, I'm really starting to get worried for you. Please think things through.
Lindelof, you too. You don't hold all the blame, but you hold a good portion of the blame.
Ugh. God.
So, Shiroi, did you enjoy Tomorrowland and going to Tomorrowland and realizing that you're a bunch of human scum? And that you have to think positively?
I enjoyed the journey. Yeah. Not the end.
It's a classic case of the journey is better than the destination, and not in one of the good ways.
It's one of the worst ones, actually, because the end is like an entire third of the movie. So
it's one of those cases where the ending is enough to ruin the product as a whole.
I can understand why this flopped because of word of mouth, because, oh boy, this movie really did spiral. It became a completely different movie.
It spirals out of control when that third act hits.
And it's not even like, it's such a tonal shift as well, because it just becomes quite, like, gritty is probably a too strong a word, but compared to the rest of the movie, which is actually quite fun a lot of the time. Yeah, it's like completely toned down. I just did not enjoy any of that last third at all.
Like, look at
Nobody
this.
did.
Look at this. The visuals we're seeing in the credits are more inspiring than anything in the movie. Like,
Yeah.
where was all those space car stuff that we were promised? Where was all the teleporters, the jetpacks, the rocket ships?
And I'm sure you also really like the cock teasing of a much better storyline that we barely focused on.
I mean, yeah. So,
I don't really have much else to say aside from the music's actually pretty good and the acting was too. Feels bad for the story though.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me for a second.
Okay, I guess you next, Jogo?
Folks, what can I say? It is such a sad failure of a movie. Because those first two thirds are promising. The problem is that, while they're promising, they're not strong enough to overpower the badness that is the third act. And that third act lasts for quite a bit of time. The action can be good, but in the third act, it's just lackluster in comparison. The dialogue could be witty here and there, but by the third act, it just becomes a jumbled mess. You're starting to see a pattern here. It's like anything that's good or decent in the first two thirds gets warped into something ugly. Like, pity me for thinking that this was just going to be a fun little romp about Tomorrowland or how anyone can do anything. No. Apparently humanity is scum, and I get it. The villains are the one trying to tout that message. The problem is how it goes on about how we have to better ourselves. And we get it. We got to do better as the human race or this or that. But then it's constantly in conflict with this whole light and hope versus darkness and despair. Like, okay, you call us humans scum, yet the message is that we actually have to think positively. Kind of sending me mixed messages there, movie. Kind of sending me mixed messages there. The music, like I said, is great all around. The visuals, they get the job done. I actually like them a lot. The acting is definitely pretty good. It's just the story. The story. But what starts off as a relatively fun journey just becomes a train wreck of a trip. Again, as soon as that third act pops in, like, there have been essays about how that last third ruins this movie. Not that I can blame the folk. So there you go, Tomorrowland. The last of a Disney trilogy, well, the Disney Bomb trilogy. And in a sense, I can see how some may consider it the worst. Like, don't get me wrong, John Carter and Lone Ranger, those had loads of problems. But John Carter was a mess from top to bottom, so it didn't hurt as much. And Lone Ranger had at least enough good moments to the point where you could feel like you had a decent enough time. This, though, the problem is that, well, the thing is that with Lone Ranger, it got its best scene at the end. So that may have helped out the trip a bit more. This one, though, gets its absolute worst at the end, which just makes you feel empty inside by the end of it. Leaving it, in my opinion, definitely the most disappointing because it also seems like it had the most potential. And that pretty much concludes my final thoughts.
Alright, yeah, okay, honestly, even before there were a few things that just didn't really add up, you know, the constant tonal shifts, most of the comedy not really being all funny, and you know, even that scene where it's, do you remember all these things of your childhoods? Please remember them. It's not my movie. My movie's not good enough. So I have to use other ones, including some of my own.
Yeah.
But yeah, and yeah, of course, that third act was just, that's doozy. Yeah, sure, yeah. the world's gonna end and it's all your fucking. I get it's the villain saying that, but still, it's even on that point, it's really heavy-handed. I'm surprised Hugh Laurie didn't have a mustache to twirl during that scene. But anyway, that's me, dumb. It was.
Yeah.
At least you, Pedro.
Oh God, this movie is such a bad movie, and I'm aside from the problems that it talks about, what frustrates me the most is that I hate stuff like this. I made the Final Fantasy X parallel, yeah, but it's interesting. Final Fantasy VIII does something as well, where I'm much more interested in the Laguna backstory rather than the actual proper main story with Squall. And I'm so it's what is up with these writers that completely misplace their priorities. Like, you have a story, you have a potentially really sweet story about this kid who comes into Tomorrowland and tries to become an inventor and genius, and then potentially falls in love with this robot girl who he doesn't know he's a robot, and which seems like a lot of great potential for character drama. But no, let's not have that. Let's just have a really shitty and schlocky humanity is garbage plot. Who needs character-driven storytelling? That's just overrated.
Let's focus it around a 25-year-old teenager.
Yeah. Well, I'm okay with the teenager being there as long as it's bothered to make her interesting. But yeah, like, in order to tell that story, you didn't need a teenager. Yeah. Like, goddamn.
All Casey's story really does is just hinder stuff or make it so that we only get the backstory of Frank Welker in tiny bits and pieces as part of a mystery, even though there's no really point of it being a mystery.
I don't understand, Brad. Did you really look at this and thought, yes, this is going to be my next major live-action project? Really? This is so beneath you. Ugh. Combining this movie, which was really, really bad, and with me being disappointed with Incredibles 2...
hey, after credits scene.
Oh. I actually already closed it.
I'm still on the video.
Just watch it and then describe it to us.
It's just a bit of somebody touching a pin and then, boop, flashing out.
Oh, great job, Brad. We totally needed that.
MCU, you are not.
Yeah. Thousands of dollars were spent on those seconds, folks. Was it worth it? Where was I going? Oh, yeah.
It made the movie for me, honestly.
Oh, of course. No, no. Sadly, Hugh Laurie will not be invited to join the Avengers. What I was going to say, yeah. This movie, combined with me being disappointed with Incredibles 2 recently, it really makes me worry for Brad Bird, specifically Brad Bird's creativity muscle, because this is the guy who gave us the fucking Iron Giant, for crying out loud, and to see him go so below that standard at this point, at least to me, it's just so disappointing. Really disappointing, because you're so much better than this thing. You really are. I really hope that his next original film for Pixar is a true return to form, because I'm really starting to get worried for him. But yeah, I guess all I have to do is hope for the best. Aside from that, I don't really have much more to say that hasn't already been said. This is just a really bad movie, and I still cannot understand how the hell Brad Bird actually thought that this is it. This is going to be my next major project. Like, whatever. That's it. That was Tomorrowland. I hope you enjoyed it more than we did. See you for whatever.
We'll see you for the next major big box office blunder from Disney, which will probably it's not like we've got a few to choose from, is it?
We'll see you for the Maleficent sequel, which I still don't understand why the hell it exists.
Hell, at the rate that Disney live action movies are getting, maybe those will be the eventual new bombs.
Maybe this is why they stopped making original live-action movies. They thought, you know what? Fine, let's just play it safe and remake our old animated films. And even that is starting to back. And even that is starting to backfire on them at the time of this recording. But we're getting off topic. See you, everybody.
Ta-ta.
See ya.